Good morning. I wanted to get on here today and, share a little bit about my life with you. Um, when I tell you rejoice in the day that the Lord has made, it means something completely different to me because I shouldn't be here. Three times over, um, the Lord has saved my life, literally multiple times in my life. And I just wanted to share with you um, some of the events that have happened in my life. So when I was younger, literally over 20 years, um, I got in a series of accidents over I want to say like a year and a half span. Um, Late one night in Colorado, I was driving home from Fort Collins, and I was headed back to my house in Denver, and I was driving home from a girlfriend's house, and it was rainy. I was very tired back then. I was working like 80 hours a week. It was not a good situation for me. But I was driving home late one night, and it was raining. It was cold. I remember being very tired, and I was driving down the road, and I started to close my eyes, and then I opened them, and I was about to hit this car in front of me going about 75 miles an hour. And I literally started to swerve to the left, and then I saw there was a car, so then I swerved back to the right, and I overcorrected. And when I overcorrected, my car lost control. It spun sideways, and then all of a sudden it stopped, and it started rolling. My car rolled over 15 times. I believe the police officer told me I took out like 280 feet of fence. When my car came to a rest, it was literally 15 feet from a cement building. And I remember I wasn't wearing a seatbelt. There was no reason for me to have walked away from this accident. You couldn't even recognize what kind of car I was driving. That's how much it had rolled and been completely totaled. I remember crawling out the back of where there used to be like the hatchback. I actually crawled out the back of it, and you couldn't even really see in the car. It was just a big clump of metal. And I remember stumbling into the parking lot, dazed and confused, and I saw a car out in the middle of the parking lot. It was late at night, so I started stumbling by that car, and the guy's like, he gets out, it's a security guy, and he says, "What happened to you?" And at that time he had a police radio in his car, and it said rollover accident on I-25. And I said, "That's what happened." He said, "Oh my goodness, we got to get you back to the car." So we get back to the car, and there are 15 to 20 people around the car saying, "Hey, we got to get the guy out of the car. We got to get the guy out of the car." And I said, "No, you don't." And they all looked and turned around at me, and I said, "Because I'm the guy that was in that car." And the disbelief on all of their faces, I can't even explain how unbelievable that I walked away from that accident only by the grace of God and his protection of angels, because there's no other explanation for it. And so not even maybe, that's one, but not even maybe, I want to say maybe 7 months later, I was driving in Colorado again, and it had snowed the night before. And I remember trying to this on-ramp is a very dangerous on-ramp onto a highway. I've always heard about accidents on that on-ramp, and one day I was driving it up, and it had snowed the day before, and I don't remember if I ended up just getting into the shoulder a little bit where the stuff that they had laid down, but I ended up losing control in that corner, and I spun into a guardrail. I hit the guardrail and it spins me upside down, and the vehicle lands literally on the roof on the guardrail, and it caves in on my head. I was really hurt in that one. I know that someone came and stopped and literally ran to the accident, and when they saw me, they literally walked up to me and said, "This is going to hurt," and they squeezed my head, and they stayed there until the ambulance got it with my head being held tightly because I was bleeding so much. And it was unbelievable that, first of all, that God had somebody so close to be sent there. If they hadn't have squeezed my head and held my head and stopped the bleeding from just being uncontrollable, I would have bled out for sure. So the ambulance comes and they take me away. And probably the more incredible part of the story is after that, 2 weeks later, after I've recovered from the hospital and I'm out, and I got to go back to the police station to pick up some paperwork. And as I go into the police station to get this paperwork, one of the officers on the scene recognized me and said, "Do you have a minute?" And I said, "Sure." And he took me and we went to his vehicle, and he drove me down below where that accident had taken place, and he showed me a spot of just nothing but crosses. I don't remember exactly how many crosses were there, but he said that he's been called to that corner for an accident multiple times, and he said I was the first person that, when he was called to that accident, that wasn't a fatality. So when I tell you God can perform miracles, He's performed them in my life multiple times. I'm just going to keep it to those two right now. I have others, but I'm going to keep it at those two. So be thankful for the day that the Lord has made. Be thankful that you're alive, and I hope this helps somebody. Whether it's just having faith in your own circumstances and our own events that have happened in your life, to realize and look back and know that there's no other explanation but God and His protection. Because truly, there is no other explanation. None. And so I just wanted to tell you that. I wanted to share that with you. I don't know why I've never been able to share that, but I hope that this helps somebody. And I hope that you have a blessed day. And when I tell you I love you, when I tell you I get on here to encourage you, I truly do, because I am blessed to be here. So you have a blessed day. I love you so much. Thank you for listening.